Well, now it's up to Rival to be the ones to try and bounce back and make some kind of adjustment, or Dignitas to just close this set out right here, right now, with a 2-0 potentially. We'll see what ends up unfolding. Picks and bans for Game 1 right here ready for your Rival, going to be in that first pick slot. And to be fair, Ryan, or not Ryan, sorry, I'm thinking about the cast. Totally, it only came down to one fight there towards the end. I mean, do Rival really have a lot that they have to do to try and make adjustments here in the picks and bans? I mean, really, there's only a couple of fights or two that got away from them.
I mean, the only pick I disliked was the Camisats because of the way iceicebaby was playing it by not playing too aggressive in the early game. I think there was missed opportunities. I don't mind the Cupid pick into the Rama. I think that's a winning matchup for VOD at the end of the day.
Cupid.
Now, Fafnir was definitely an anti-Dignitas strat. The Morgan was an anti-Dignitas strat. So maybe Rival just needs to focus on themselves a little bit, see what works for them between Poseidon, between the Isis for Wlfy, and get him in his own little comfort zone and, you know, get the Athena potentially for Callus, but Dignitas is not going to allow that to happen.
Not this time. They ban away the Sharket from Qvo, the Morgan away from Zyrhoes, and pick Chernobog for themselves. Not going to let that one go over to Dig either. It does mean, though, one more time we're going to get to see that Freya pick come through, and the Rom. Arkkyl and Zyrhoes, the two carries, prioritizing the same picks again in Game 2.
No surprise to me whatsoever. Despite the early death from Arkkyl, he managed to step it up in the later portion. Really relying on Zyrhoes for some of the setup, and that's what allowed that second last team fight to go in the way of Dignitas. But man, with picks and bans like these, look at this. Chernobog, Baron, Amaterasu. This is going to be one aggressive Rival squad in Game 2.
Yeah, Rival have got to be feeling good about where they are right now. They've got the Chernobog for the rotation ability, even Ama to some extent with the movement, Baron for control and sustain in those team fights. Not going to be easy for Dignitas. They are, though, going to be able to grab themselves a Sobek, a big disrupting and controlling factor to set up for these two carries.
It's not the same as a Terra, though. Obviously, the way Variety played it was in a similar fashion to the way we saw Deathwalker play the Sobek, but that Earth and Fury is just so powerful. I'm surprised that they didn't go for the Terra yet again.
Let's see what the adjustments are. Is Dignitas actually banning away the hell from this composition? Maybe a little bit surprising to see that one. And no surprise to see that Odin taken off the board. Not going to let Ice play that. And then Rav and Camisats both taken off. So yeah, a lot of what Rival took in Game 1 appears to have been stuff they were worried about Dig playing.
I was actually curious to see if they were going to still pick the Terra after the Sobek, but it's going to be the double Guardian with a Khepri instead. Something that Trixtank is really relying on to not only prevent Amaterasu from doing Amaterasu things, but yet again keeping Arkkyl and Zyrhoes alive. Those late game hyper carries, if they fall early in the fight, if they have to use their ultimates prematurely, then their effectiveness just goes beyond half even.
Definitely could be limiting, as the double warrior is going to be the idea here from Rival. The Achilles to match up with the Amaterasu and an Isis to come through as well to give them some nice control coming from that mid lane. So maybe you lose a little bit when you go double warrior, but Isis, Baron, they kind of make up for that.
I agree. I think that Rival are now playing their own identity by giving Wlfy the Isis. The double warrior is a good idea in terms of gaining control in the side lanes. Achilles should win against Sobek. Amaterasu and Chernobog should be able to just maybe even straight up kill Trixtank in the duel lane.
That's right. They should have an opportunity there. We'll see if they can capitalize on it, as they've got damage just about everywhere. Is that enough to win Rival's vote here in Game 2, or do you think Dignitas are going to find a way to close it out right here, right now? Go ahead and let us know what you think with your vote in the Mixer poll. As a Nemesis rounds it out, got to imagine that one's going to be going over to QvoFred on the side of Team Dignitas. Another pick we've been seeing maybe a little bit more of late, I would say. Could get some value for him here.
Possibly. Dodge was available if they really wanted to. I'm a little bit questioning the Nemesis pick. We'll see how it goes for QvoFred.
Maybe they can make it work. Dignitas up against a Rival. Rival need to win this one to make it to that Game 3, or else Dig will take it right here, right now. Let's find out what happens with the casters.
Thanks a lot there, John Finch. Right now, Team Rival starting things off hot. Trixtank in a bind. He's going to have to wind up walking out. And thanks, Anatoly. I wouldn't leave you out there. Thanks, buddy. It's Team Rival, game number 2 here. And a certainly different approach to the game this time around. Vote on what is considered to be the number 1 hunter versus last time around, where he was on what is widely considered to be the number bottom hunter.
Nice. Yeah, I couldn't remember either. This vote has a serious claim to best Chernobog on the planet.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
I like the Yambog.
Really?
Yaman?
I distinctly remember him inting under a tier 1 tower on land against Space Station on the Chernobog.
But that's on land.
Oh, only the online Yambog, huh?
Yeah, it's online bug. Online bug.
Tom, it's only 20 seconds in. I don't know how long this game is, but
I'm just saying.
We're gonna have to.
Well, you're right. I think, jokes aside, the Vodabog, definitely a character that is worth really talking about. Collis grabbed up. Trixtank trying to body block him, actually, and doing some damage. What makes Vote's Chernobog stand out to you?
He just seems to have the right timing on everything. Sometimes you'll see Chernobogs ult to fights that maybe they shouldn't be ulting to. Vote doesn't seem to fall in that trap very often. He uses it to box in lane really well. He really is able to play aggressively with this pick at the right times. He's able to immune a lot of damage really nicely with that Into Darkness dash. He's just been very consistent on this pick. I mean, even again, he played it against Energy last week. His whole team was getting bodied pretty much.
Sure.
He's still able to solo Emilito. I mean, that's what has really stood out to me with this selection. And going to another selection that stood out in that same set was the Nemesis for adapting. This time it was for QvoFred. And I don't think it's a coincidence that both times we've seen it, I believe there has been a Baron on the other side.
Yes.
Qvo should be spending a lot of time in this solo lane. There are few kills easier than Sobek pluck into Nemesis ult on a Baron who's not right by his tower line, because he has no recourse to get himself out of that very easily. Now his 2 does give himself some slow immunity, or did we change that? That might have been one of the spots where we nerfed him. Now I'm going to look that up, and I'm going to let you talk while I do so.
Well, Deathwalker here on the Baron Samedi has an interesting matchup against Variety. If anything, we can think about how he's going to go up against the Sobek, which again, this is, I would say, more kill potential than Sobek versus Terra, but certainly not a high-impact lane. It's not Assassin versus Assassin. Speaking of Assassins, iceicebaby in the enemy jungle. Kind of back to base. The Achilles not willing to really look for the level 2 gank this time around. And so he's going to play it safe.
And keep in mind, Consigned Spirits does give you slow immunity over a certain hysteria threshold, as I mentioned. So Vote might just fall here. Arkkyl needs another Astral Arrow to get the slow going.
Nice play.
Was all out. Good body blocks there by Kalas just in case. But with stacking slows like Nem ult into Sobek ult, he'll get some slow immunity, sure, but not forever. And the amount of damage there onto the Baron would probably just be too much for Deathwalker to handle. So I do want to see Qvo head over to the right-hand side as soon as he hits level 5 to try and get some kills.
Vote only level 3 at the moment. Kalas on the Amaterasu, though, really looking to hit the mid-game hard one more time. Amaterasu and the Chernobog, both characters that do very well in that sort of Gold Fury, that Gold Fury moments. No real invades, however. We saw the Achilles get a little bit excited and went over to Team Dignitas' jungle, but didn't really get anything out of it, and not a real commitment to playing aggressive. So game number 1 was a very slow roll game. We had 6 kills in about 30 minutes. Here for Team Rival, again, looking at the composition, I expect a aggressive mid-jungle. We're not really seeing that. Wlfy's Isis got the pressure, but I guess not too much.
No boots finished yet for him, so he can't really rotate particularly well. I just love this composition so much more from Rival, because game 1, it felt like Rival was trying to play Dignitas' game.
Right.
And you just won't beat a team at their own game very often.
Specifically Team Dignitas.
Specifically Team Dignitas. Whereas this feels much more like Rival loaded it. You know what I mean?
Yes, I know, yes.
It's not just the picks, it's the way that they played the map that will end up playing the map if it goes the way I expect it to. And so this just feels so much better for Rival, and I think that game 1 was the embodiment of the trap they had kind of fallen into, where they weren't playing as well, and I think it's because they were playing other teams' playstyles instead of just playing their own. It's very easy to look at another team's success and go, oh, we can do that, but better.
Yeah.
Maybe you can, but that's what they're good at, and you should stick to what you are good at, as long as it's within reason. And certainly it has been within reason. Rival's been the best team for, most consistent team for almost a year leading up until the split. So I think that this is a good sign for Rival, and I think that they've got a much better chance of finding success in this game because they're playing their style.
Wlfy on the Isis. What do you mean by that?
It's controlling mid-jungle, heavy CC compositions, good team fight potential, but also just good potential if you don't contest them to out-farm you. The Dignitas is a team that will out-farm you, but ultimately it's going to come down to one team fight, and they might have the odds in their favor, but you still are in it.
Dignitas are looking to outplay you on the battlefield.
Right.
Team fight style.
Energy, historically, has two distinct styles. One is very similar to that of Dignitas, where they're willing to take it slow, they'll pick a late-game composition, and they'll trust they're just going to out-button you in the later stages. And they also have games where you just don't get to play, because they do such a good job of hitting every pressure point and keeping you off your farm and getting their farm and getting every objective, and you're like, okay, we'll just wait until that big team fight that they want us to do. But what you don't realize is you lost the game 20 minutes earlier. Rival is very similar to Energy in that regard. They can do both, but they do both of the same compositions, if that makes sense. Energy likes to change their compositions depending on what they want to do, it seems like. Whereas Rival does not, is they're going to try and get a fight started here with Kalos' ultimate, but doesn't get the stuns, and Variety rotating in means Kalos is in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, the flip right into the clutch of the QvoFred. First blood for Team Dignitas. Nice and easy. Fight back from where Rival started the fight once before. Arkkyl rolling forward for damage onto the Hunter, but ultimately just a little bit of pepper. But Team Dignitas, first on the board. Still, I don't think it really dictates the larger conversation.
Uh-oh, Arkkyl rolling in. Trixtank's on the way. Might not even need the help. A gets from Vote a little bit early, but still has it into darkness, so Arkkyl will just take his exit. iceicebaby on the way. Trix does have his Scarab's Blessing and might need it, but instead decides to go with the Shell. The longer cooldown, interesting. I think that Scarab's Blessing is just a better call there from Trixtank. So shorter cooldown just allows Arkkyl to guaranteed stay alive either way. You can still body block the Fatal Strike if you're worried about that, but remember Ice had used it on bottom right Harpies. I think that if given the chance again, Trix probably ends up using that Scarab's Blessing there.
Not the best decision-making moment there for Trixtank. Zyrhoes finishing off his boots, though. Will be building into that Book of Thoth power very, very soon. And after just one kill in about 8 minutes, another slow-paced game. Not overly late-game oriented either. Why is Team Dignitas insistent on playing the slow roll?
Their fight early on just can't stand up to Achilles Isis. I mean, they really don't have a choice.
So then why are Wlfy and Ice being more aggro? Last time around, it was distinctly because Dignitas were kind of a thorn in their side, keeping them down. Here, Wlfy and Ice, I feel like, have had some opportunities. You see Ice in the enemy jungle. It's just at the wrong time.
They would like to play aggressive at this point in the game, but there's not a whole lot of payoff right now. I think that we'll see Rival probably attempt an early Gold Fury, even with people up, because Circle of Protection is so much better at securing than anything else in this game, and it really isn't close. I mean, Circle of Protection is the best secure in the game, but still, I mean, sometimes you'll have a Scylla on the enemy team, Kukulkan, whatever, and it can really throw off your secure. But in this game, you're looking at a Freya auto attack that's body blockable. I mean, you're not gonna get that same sort of seal potential. You're basically looking at either a fully charged Lurking in the Waters, which you can reset during, of course, because it's a slow build-up. One shot of Valkyrie's Discretion, a shot from Astral Barrage. There's not a lot of steal potential here, so I think Rival is less worried about forcing fights and should be more worried about forcing objectives, specifically the Golden Fury.
That's where Rival... wow, excuse me. That's where Rival need to be looking. And they're close to it. Fighting over by the left side, Harpies, not by the Gold Fury, however. Here comes help from the Hunter. Trixtank is deleted. He'll get a brief reprieve. Trying to wiggle out. Does avoid the Spirit Bomb. Wonderful play by Trixtank. And here's the reconvenience.
And Qvo's out. Are you kidding me? Zyrhoes able to get the double. This might just be a triple for Zyrhoes. A good 180 Spirit Ball may be enough to stop it. And he can't quite find the distance with that whoop, but instead finds Vote. Into Darkness gets Vote a little bit of distance, but again, a perfect Spirit Ball from Wlfy saves his life. That just is... It's an overcommit by Rival. You're overlapping Fatal Strike and Circle of Protection. of course Trixtank's gonna ult himself during that.
Yeah.
Just use one. You can use the other one later on to guarantee that kill. It was a great juke from Trixtank, don't get me wrong, to wiggle out of that Spirit Ball. That was really nicely done. And then Qvo dives into 4, has a perfect Retribution shield, and is able to stay up past it. And ultimately getting Zyrhoes double is near nightmare scenario for Team Rival. They lose the Gold Fury, which is what this composition is designed to do better, is fight around the Gold Fury, but when it's down, then this comp doesn't do that much for you. You really... That was rough for Rival. That is near worst case scenario.
Yeah.
Only thing that goes worse there is if Wlfy misses a Spirit Ball and then he gets killed by Zyrhoes. Like that's pretty much it.
QvoFred right there shows my favorite side of Nemesis. Nemesis, once upon a time, was a warrior. And her whole mentality was, and I think still is to a certain extent, to stick in these team fights over an extended period of time and really just kind of battle it out and be surrounded by opponents, right? And I think that's what QvoFred did well in that exchange, was just get in the middle of everybody and bring them down. I like that play from QvoFred. I want to see more of that from Team Dignitas, who now have a tangible 2,000 gold lead after that Gold Fury. A nice look there.
Still no gank on the right, though, onto this Baron. And now Deathwalker's at level 12, so can back to base and get the sprint. Man, I mean, adapting didn't really do it earlier against the Baron with the Nemesis either. And I really feel like it's just a missed opportunity to not be ganking solo lane with Nemesis against Baron, where he just doesn't have an ability to get away from you.
That's fair.
Even the slow immunity on the 2, sure, but you have to be hit by Hysteria up until that point. Enough Hysteria from the other abilities, and let's say you just disengage for a little bit. Maybe you do it right after your solo laner backs to base so that he's not above that 30% or 30 Hysteria threshold, and then you're good, man. You've got nothing to worry about on that side of the map. I'm very surprised.
Iceice is very low. Team Dignitas can take advantage of this, but Iceice intelligently turns around very quickly. Doesn't want any part of that. Could it also just be the defensive side of it, meaning that we see the Nemesis, because the double dash is going to get her out of the ultimate, the shield is going to prevent a lot of the damage. You can also look at it on the other side of the coin. Collis lifted and then grabbed up by Trixtank.
Sure, but all of those things are still true if you're ganking solo, right? I mean, they're not mutually exclusive. You can be picking Nemesis because she's great on defense, because her ultimate is going to give you value late game and lets you shut down, the Ama pretty easily. All of those things are still true if you're 3-0 because you've ganked solo 3 times. You're 2-0-1, your solo laner's got to kill because the enemy Baron has no way to get away from you.
I think the key there is just the fact that he's not really losing anything by not going for this Deathwalker. If he does gank and it winds up being the wrong decision, he winds up getting killed. Variety's behind even more so. QvoFred's already up 2 levels. I can see the decision-making behind not going for it. Normally, here's where I would say, well, the other moves that he's been making on the map have been problematic for Team Rival, so why bring him over there? But there hasn't been any moves.
Not a lot quite yet. Some moves on the Collis, though, as he loses half his HP. Courtesy of, again, Whoop into Abduct, into smacking you with big gumballs. But Deathwalker is here now. Rotation over to try and defend red. Successful. Rival able to get the red buff, but Dignitas has a pretty easy disengage from there.
Yeah, no real problems here for Team Dignitas. I think they want to start thinking about causing problems. Gold Fury is going to be up in about a minute. And again, Team Dignitas, I think their job is to keep Gold Fury off of the map. Because if it's on the map, Rival are going to go for it and likely take it. We discussed Circle of Protection is just better.
Plus, Ama Aura, just better at providing team AoE. Chernobog, great at burning down objectives because the attack speed steroid is great. His passive works very well in conjunction with that. So Rival, I mean, they're down a decent amount. A 3K deficit, you're basically losing 1,000 gold a kill that you've given up right now. And XP, not big, but there as well.
And the pace of the game is also problematic for Rival going this slow means that there's just less opportunities for them to get that gold back. When it's back and forth and there's tons of action, you can lose 2 team fights at an objective and go, we'll get them next time. We'll figure it out at the next exchange. It's going to be in 2 minutes. Here, 15-15. It's 3-zip. Team Dignitas have gotten their 2 half team fights and translated that into a gold fury, and that's it.
And the mid jungle is where that XP lead in particular is, and that's problematic for Rival because those 2 members of their team are the most early game tilted, whereas Team Dignitas are the 2 of the most late game on their side. So that is not a good prospect now for Rival to have the 2 members that you're really counting on to get a lead and kind of maintain it through the early stages be the 2 that are behind. They've done a good job of holding it off, you know, stemming the bleeding, if you will, to only be down by a level and a half each.
Sure.
And only have died 3 times in 16 minutes. But
sure.
That's not what you're looking for.
Ultimate on a QvoFred, going to be able to chase out the beats. Meanwhile, Chernobog looking for Freya in the middle lane. Vote doing a ton of damage. Zyrhoes down to 25%. Deathwalker here and looking to control the mid lane mage, keeping him out of the jungle. Right, this is the pluck.
Close though. And here we go. Here's where Rival wants to be. Circle of protection down. Gold Fury down goes to Rival.
They got to look out for that. That being Dignitas. Now looking for the team fight here. Wlfy half, and he's trying to get out. Dignitas now trying to focus on DW, but he's so tanky. QvoFred going to be saved by longtime teammate Trixtank. Collis down to a hair of HP. But split DPS.
Roll forward from Arkkyl as well. Good heal over the wall by Deathwalker, but iced way too far forward. Wlfy's beats already down, and he gets cut down by QvoFred. Variety is pretty good at playing Sobek, it turns out. And I love that Dignitas just doesn't allow Rival to disengage. I mean, they're dangling Qvo low health on a leash basically there to try and say, come and get him. You can just... No reason to run away. We know you got gold, but stay, fight us. You know, let's go. Let's do this. And even though they're down in gold after that, you know, 600 extra gold goes Rival's way before you add in the Pyromancer. It's XP in Dignitas' favor still.
Total gold lead is in the hands of Team Dignitas. 3,500 or so, 1740 on the clock. Team Rival, 0 kills. And although they did get the Gold Fury, Dignitas did exactly what they needed to. They fought back after the fact. Middle lane tower being aggressed on by Vote and support player Collis. I don't think this is going to be a win. Trixtank now just daring Vote. And that's that.
Wlfy has been a non-impact in this game so far.
What's up with that?
I don't know. He just has had a rough fall split.
So when Rival looked fantastic last week, it was hard to miss. I may have said once or twice that it was about the team coming together as a unit. How much of that is the fact that Wlfy just stepped up and made everybody look like they were on the same page, and he was just elevated?
It's really... I feel for Wlfy because he, from all the videos I've seen, hold that thought, I feel for him because he's dead, number 1, because Blink Pluck from Variety is an easy kill.
Oh, man, Variety!
Love it, man. I love the Blink Sobek, and Ice's beads were down. Forced by, who was that again? Oh, yeah, Variety earlier on, and he was killed at the last Gold Fury fight after his beads were down by, who was that? Oh yeah.
Oh, Variety.
Again, right. Yeah, that's kind of what happens whenever you give Variety the croc. It is something that's going to happen to you.
It's fun to watch.
And man, it is so hard. As a mid laner, you are the glue that holds the team together. That's the way, you know, some mid laners will be your star player, some mid laners will be your role player. It doesn't matter. You are the cohesive unit. You are the voice oftentimes between the back line and the front line. But Wlfy is the primary shot caller for Rival. From all the content that they've made, that's what I've gathered. They do a lot of communicating as a team, but Wlfy is the voice that every team, you know, you hear, oh, who's the shot caller? And team answers, oh, we all do a little bit of it. Miss me with that. There is one dude on every team who, as soon as someone makes that call, they are the one.
Deathwalker is going to be the one here that Team Dignitas is looking at. Turns on the vacuum. Vote on the right-hand side. Looking to flank Trixtank. Variety's still relatively healthy. He'll dash on out of there. Zyrhoes on the other hand. Aegis is out the damage from the mid lane mage. Up in the sky, Valkyrie's discretion will allow him to turn the corner. And silence. There's the help from the Scarab. And he's safe. Zyrhoes out of there. Team Dignitas now just keeping Rival at bay. And I can't help. Oh my goodness. Trixtank. We have been talking about his teammates all day. Dignitas now trying to survive and keep their tier 2 tower up.
Front line still here from Dig, but tower getting very, very low. Good zone away from Variety, who does get rooted, and that's going to be a big heal for Team Rival, but they end up calling off the chase. Tier 2 tower still stands.
You know, I brought this up. Trixtank, this is a player that has really transcended his own definition. Players have tendencies, and that's not a bad thing, right? We players are good at what they do, and Trixtank habitually has been an aggressive, sometimes warrior-focused support player from the beginning of Smite to, let's say, Season 4. And we saw him gradually transition into more of the Sylvanas, characters like that, more defensive. Him playing this Khepri, first of all, can we agree that it's been lights out?
Yes.
Like, all game?
Yes.
Like, gigantic.
Yes.
And I don't think Trixtank could see him playing this well in Season 3. This is a beautiful play.
Look at this. I love this call from Rival. Their backs are against the wall, and so they try to force it home. Circle protection down on FG. Rival get the Fire Giant, but Dignitas not going to let him go for free.
Oh no, Team Dignitas looking for the team fight. Up in the sky goes Arkkyl, and Wlfy's in his crosshairs, but the Aegis does one better. QvoFred blinks to the front and takes down Wlfy again. The mid lane will sit down. Arkkyl still on a tear. Number 8 for Team Dignitas. iceicebaby finally puts his team on the board. Team Rival get the Fire Giant. But as my old friend Drybear says, at what cost, Ryan? At what cost?
They lose 2 members in a tier 1, but in comparison to the way this game was going, I think I'm still fine with that for Rival. Yes,
same.
They did not get the better end of that engagement, but it stops the momentum from Dignitas. They get a Pyromancer as well. I don't think they'll be able to walk over to the left and get Gold Fury before Rival's mid laner respawns. So that's okay. And man, I really feel like, and I feel like Rival probably felt like, if this game is so critical to them, not just in, they basically need it if they want to finish top 2, but they just need it because they really need it. I mean, they have been losing confidence, it feels like. Yes, they just beat Obey, I get it. But Obey all season has been a cut below the top end, and Rival has been the headliner of the top end. And now they're in danger of losing their spot.
They very quickly, in a matter of 3 weeks, went from headlining the tour to being the opening act.
Exactly.
And that's got to hurt Rival. And you said something I really enjoyed about them playing their own game. Rival just saying, screw it, we'll do it live, take our ISIS to the right side of the map.
They rivaled a Fire
Giant. Force the fire.
Exactly. They rivaled it.
Exactly. And just like how I was excited last week to see that group Rival, that team Rival, sort of come back together, when you see plays like that, if you're wearing a purple hoodie, you've got to be excited because, yes, they overall mathematically lost the engagement. But that's the type of resurgency that you need to see if you're a fan. And also, if you're a coach, if I'm Alpha Jackal, that is what I want my team to do. Behind, ahead, I want to see them embrace themselves and look for the victory through the channels that they've figured out will already win.
They rival another Gold Fury, and they get it. Really, I'm shocked that Dignitas is letting them get away with little else.
So, the first time with the Fire Giant, fine. Here at the Gold Fury, Wlfy doesn't even use the Circle of Protection.
No, and that's huge. I mean, Wlfy's Aegis is still down. You know that if you're on Dignitas. Quvo's beads are down, sure, but he's got a Magi's Cloak. And really, if you can just get on top of Wlfy here, you force him to use Circle of Protection on gold, number 1. And then he's a free kill. You just just lurking in the waters underneath him, and he's got to use Aegis there, but it's down. So he's dead. And with just help from Variety and Arkkyl from a distance, that's enough. That was Dignitas seems to have lost a bit of their momentum, and I'm not really sure why.
Yeah, I don't like this play from Dignitas at all. Variety getting stunted here, silenced out, and followed up on tier 1 tower, excuse me. Goes down as the tier 2 is exposed. If I'm Team Dignitas, I go, yeah, you know what? They kicked us in the shins with the Fire Giant, but we mathematically won. Oh well. 3 of them, Ice Ice, Collis, who cares if they have a Fire Giant buff? Vote, that's a problem. Sure. Ice Ice has done nothing but sit on his hands all game. I don't really care about him. 7,000 player damage? Oh no, not concerned, right? I look at that Gold Fury play, and that's if I can call a timeout and smite, I'm doing it. I'm sitting there and I'm screaming at my team. Like the boxing guy in the corner, I'm screaming at, what are you doing? What are they doing? Like you're letting Rival kind of make that play. Rival took the reins on the Fire Giant side, sure. Rival stole them from you on the left side. I think that's an egregious mistake by Team Dignitas. If this game does go in Team Rival's favor, I think we're looking at not the Fire Giant play, but the Gold Fury play after the fact.
To continue your boxing analogy, it felt like Dignitas had put Rival in against the ropes in the corner. Rival gets one good shot in on the body, and Dignitas lets him out.
Yeah.
And it, like, why? Yeah, they got you, but you're still in a commanding position.
4,000 gold at the top.
Exactly. So now for this next Fire Giant push, we're dead center of the ring.
Even.
I mean, plus with Rival having the better secure composition.
Yes.
Now Dignitas still has a much better fight if Wlfy is forced to use Circle of Protection, but you need to force him to use Circle of Protection. Otherwise, these team fights can really go either way.
Dignitas thus far has really been focusing on Wlfy on that Isis pick, and it's been working out wonderfully. Variety with this blink has been on point. QvoFred also has been there as well. Collis gets controlled, but Variety in tandem. So a 1-for-1, not death, but control. Trixtank does fall before the use of the ultimate. It's a bad look for Team Dignitas. Again.
That whole fight was just ugly. I mean, Collis dashes in and silences away the bubble from Variety. So Variety plucks Collis because Collis' dash is down. But then the prot shred from Dispel Magic, straight into the damage from Deathwalker, and from Wlfy makes Variety ult, and he's already half HP. Deathwalker ults where he probably shouldn't have if he's looking for Variety, and it looks like he just kind of found a beetle right in front of him without realizing it, because Trixtank kind of walks into it and doesn't dash away, was probably too close in the first place. Whereas the rest of Team Dignitas is just kind of watching. I mean, there wasn't a whole lot there for Dignitas in terms of follow-up. So that was, all in all, very odd from Dig.
Is there any chance Variety sees Wlfy back behind that rock?
I don't think so, no. I don't think
the particle effects don't go out?
No, I don't think so.
Because if Dignitas know that Wlfy's not here, pull.
You don't have Trixtank here, and Wlfy doesn't have ultimate anyways. That's your main concern.
Is this Speed Isis?
Yeah, he's a mid laner. He deserves all the buffs he's allowed to have.
No,
I know. Yeah, it gets you in position and out of position better. Out of position meaning out of danger, I should say.
Wlfy doesn't need any help getting out of position
exactly.
this game. 0-3-2 with a mid laner.
Also, less damage than Trixtank through 28 minutes.
I made fun of Ice Ice, but that's a big oof. Deathwalker here, controlled. Let go. Team Dignitas have control of the Fire Giant pit, but they don't have a flank. iceicebaby looking out for the right-hand side.
Trix is basically looking to root Deathwalker in particular and set him up for an easy pluck from Variety, but he's been pretty stingy with throwing out those solar flares. A little concerned that he'd eat the same fate from the last engagement.
Yeah, he needs that. He needs that self peel almost is what he feels like. Rival just pushing Dignitas out. It's a 2,000 gold lead, boys. This is not something that College should just be able to do like this. I don't like the positioning from Team Dignitas.
Wow, Trix again. Did he even get a relic off that time?
Did not.
I don't think so. No shell, no sprint, no ult. From Trixtank did sprint. Okay, so at least he got one off.
This is, and correct me if I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong here. This seems mental to me, where Dignitas are just not Team Rival are walking at them, and Dignitas are shying away when they perhaps shouldn't. I think Dignitas can take these fights.
Maybe, but Trix has really been put in a bad spot because he's getting Baron ulted in to execute from iceicebaby, so his ultimate doesn't even matter.
Right.
In that sense. Now Dignitas has all their ults up and Rival has none, so this is a winnable fight.
QvoFred ults Vote on the back line. He dashes into the wall. Now going to look for the damage out from Slice and Dice. Won't be able to find it. Rival. Yellow support here. Color slowly ticking up. Team Dignitas keep the opponent off the Fire Giant. And these are the type of little wins that Dignitas need to be after at this point in the game.
This Oni Hunter's Garb just isn't cutting it in magical defense for Trixtank. It's a great item. It's super cheap, but it's not a lot of outright stats. Only 60 magical protection, which isn't bad, but it's just not enough. You have the Spirit Robe as well. Trixtank is really just getting shredded very, very quickly.
His next item is going to be Magic Prot.
Yeah, and he needs it. That's for sure.
Too little, too late.
No, I mean, I really don't have a problem with this build. Variety just is getting... It's this Prot shred from Wlfy's 3 that I think is really causing a lot of problems. It's making it so that Variety can't afford to jump in front of this Baron ult as he'd like to. The old get down Mr. President move where you just jump in front of the Baron ult to take the stun and stop the pull from happening. Variety can't really afford to do it unless he's already lurking in the waters. He's been forced to do that defensively. And Rival just playing they're just playing this collapse game. It's like the Venus flytrap of, Variety, pluck whoever you want. You take your pick, but we are going to surround you and kill you right afterwards. And Dignitas isn't doing a good enough job of getting involved right after the fact. They don't have a lot of long-range damage at this point.
Dignitas again being pushed by Team Rival. Just pushed. Just pushed. I guess that's really all you can do. Zyrhoes' lack of control is problematic.
Whoop has been a big part of it, but now that Kalas has a Magi's bubble, it's pretty difficult for that to end up being an easy target anymore. He's also level 18 and has a Mantle of Discord. Like, it's just not, that's just not your target.
Deathwalker again being grabbed up, but that's all Zyrhoes has.
Uh-oh, Trix again. There's the game plan. Circle of protection right on top of it, but this time is not going to work quite as well. But Variety is getting absolutely shredded. Vote's going to take care of him, but Wlfy's already down.
The Hunters have done their work. It's 1-for-1. Variety versus Wlfy. Who's a bigger deal in the team fight?
Probably Variety at this point, but we'll have to wait and see.
Well, QvoFred's relatively low. iceicebaby trying to take him down, and he will. Kalas with the last hit off of the assist from the jungler. Ice on the run, still pushing Dignitas back. It's a good team fight for Team Rival. Nice slowdown. Zero's in trouble.
Body blocks, man. That was sick. Now, Ice does fall. Arkkyl has done great work in this team fight. Still a 3-on-2, though, as Kalas again misses his Ama ult. You know, we put a lot of onus on Rival's recent struggles on Wlfy, but I think Kalas has also been underperforming.
Sure. As
of late.
Wow, really?
That team fight there was a really good start to Vote makes it happen.
VAAA. You know what that one is?
Set up an ambush here.
Exactly. Team Rival execute perfectly. They get lucky number 7 in the kill count. And this is going to line them up for the Fire Giant.
Arkyl's here. No ultimate, no mana. He should not be here.
No, he's got to go.
I don't even know if he got enough mana for a roll. I mean, rolling Assault is fairly mana intensive for a character with such a low mana pool.
Arkkyl knows how to roll. He's fine. 10-7, read the kills. Team Dignitas on the bad side of things, despite having game number 1 in their pocket and the majority of the gold here. Rival wrestle back control of the game. Ooh, yeah, that graph.
Yep. I mean, Wlfy. His ultimate is not as good there, but it creates there's a big commit from Dignitas to focus him out in that team fight. And we called out Ice and Wlfy for low player damage. Check out where QvoFred is right now. Has not been particularly effective in this game either with this Nemesis. He came around the back and immediately dropped the ultimate onto Wlfy. But Rival just created a seal from everybody else on Dignitas. That's where Arkyl's so good, because he's able to get up and above with that Astral Barrage. That's what kills Wlfy, but still, good idea from Rival, and if Wlfy's able to stay alive and juke a little bit more next time, then that could have been a very clean fight for them.
Qvo did really well in the beginning of the game. right? That 9,000 gold in context, or that 9,000 player damage in context, was towards the top end of things once upon a time. But when we transitioned into team fight phase, kind of silent.
Yeah.
Qvo hasn't been able to do it. It's been really, really an issue. And, you know, I can't help it. Look at the pick. I love the Nemesis selection, and I love the Nemesis selection into this composition, but I think you've got to look less at the world of Nemesis transitioned into this burst character with the ultimate and the slice and dice, and I think you've got to look into the basic attack build that players like Adapting have gone in the past. Maybe not the critical strike, but sometimes we see the Blood Forge come online, the tanky options, the Masamune in lieu of the Stoner Sword, and that allows you to stay in those team fights a little bit longer.
I don't know. I just think that it's really this Baron pick for Deathwalker.
Yeah.
That's been the whole team fight victory for Rival the last few fights, hasn't it? It's just been life of the party, isolating Trixtank and killing him. And he was able to get out of laning phase with one death.
Both Hunters have also been able to free cast, by the way. Just putting that out there.
They have.
Nobody's looking at these Hunters.
And both of them have done great work. I think both of them have played very, very well. It's just that Deathwalker's been able to do so much.
Variety looking for the pluck. Instead, he's going to be the one in trouble. Trixtank just gone like that. iceicebaby executes him after the fact. It's a 1-for-1 Trixtank for Deathwalker.
This Achilles pick has really just frustrated Trixtank, I feel like. That the Fatal Strike goes through the Scarab's Blessing, of course. Any execute will go through Scarab's Blessing. And even there, where Rival actually almost makes a fatal error in popping the Scarab's Blessing before iceicebaby can just do the dirty work himself, then, I mean, he's going to res at the same spot, just drop Circle of Protection and insta-kill him upon landing. That's exactly what Wlfy did. So good cover-up there by Wlfy to make sure that Trixtank does end up falling.
4-on-4 here on the left side. Phoenix, Team Dignitas on the downside playing defense. 3 out of the 4 players on Rival have a Fire Giant. And it's troublesome because Vote's one of them. iceicebaby blinking to the backside, and QvoFred takes care of him. I don't know what that was about, but you're giving Dignitas a ride back into this one. Kala's going to be chased up. Tail whipped away. Oh, but the whoop from Zyrhoes sets up the kill. And the mid lane one more time. 5-1-6.
Great whoop by Zyrhoes, but now I don't know how tanky iceicebaby thought he was, but he's significantly less tanky than that.
Is he wearing the shirt?
I do not know, and I don't know if that would have ultimately mattered. He blinks in, and Zyrhoes just pre-beats as it goes, okay.
Okay.
Yeah. You want to take this? Then be my guest. I mean, that cuts him down with absolute ease. And iceice doesn't have boots. He went for this Golden Blade. This might be the first time we've seen Golden Blade since the new patch. Not in the sense that we thought we'd see it in the Bakasuras and the Mercuries of the world. Here it's a movement speed and power item that also gives him a bit of utility in clearing waves and things of that nature. But Witchblade and Masamune, that's all his movement speed. And still, I mean, you just don't have, even with all that mobility.
He's above Boots. Boots are 18.
Right. He's at, what, 30?
30.
Here, I believe all of those are 10%.
Yeah. In
the movement speed department. So that's quite a bit. Does not have the shirt on, so he's got even more movement speed on top of that. But he, in the wise words of an Aussie, he dead so quickly.
Yeah. Just
2 for 2 on games and QZ bad Xingchen call references so far, by the way.
I like that one. I like it a lot better than I liked iceicebaby's initiation there. Sorry, dude. Gonna have to call you out for it. Hunters. I mentioned it briefly before. Our Hunters have absolutely been performing. Every time Finch and I do this like player draft thing, I always pick Arkkyl. I think he's extremely consistent. And Dignitas, I feel like every single member on this team has had an oops this game. And I haven't seen Arkkyl really roll into the team fight haphazardly. He's just consistently been on the back line, dealing out the damage. Number 3 overall next to his Freya. Sorry, you've got a Freya on your team. But he's just been the major point of damage. And Rival have not focused him and or he's escaped danger every single time. And it's very impressive.
This blink a little bit better from iceicebaby. Life of the party this time Won't get a whole lot going for Rival as Variety surges forward, but finds little to no damage whatsoever with that lurking in the waters.
Just a little bit of a push. Fire Giant's up. QvoFred thinking about not the flank anymore. Maybe he's just thinking about those beans because he's just all over the place.
Rival now on the Fire Giant. Around it, at least, I should say.
They see. Okay.
They know where Qvo is. There is a ward on bottom side. Circle protection up and available for Wlfy. They might just commit to this.
I mean, it's Rival, so anything is possible. DW is in trouble, but they pop the Ice's ultimate already, and Dignitas doesn't take much damage from it.
Was that a Mantle of Discord CC immunity that Deathwalker just got?
Yes, it was.
Man, that sucks.
I'm so mad if I'm on Team Dignitas.
Yeah, I mean, that's a kill.
And potentially...
Mantle, man, it's a hell of a drug. I'll tell you what, that item is insane.
Thinking about that Mantle. Deathwalker doesn't have it available to him anymore, but drops down the vacuum. And it's a peel back from Dignitas. Variety just gets stuck. The Fire Giant goes to Team Rival.
Love that play from Deathwalker. It's a bit of a different use of Life of the Party than we've seen a lot of players use, but that vacuum does go through walls. You can pull someone through the wall. So he uses it to start pulling everybody before he actually inches his way around the corner, lets them all get hit, builds that hysteria up right away without waiting until he gets around the corner, and then is able to pull Variety right towards him and guarantee that kill. That's beautiful, but again, Variety's pluck damage gave Deathwalker CC immunity with Mantle of Discord. And if Deathwalker's dead there, then Variety isn't getting Life of the Party then.
Bad luck 13 for Team Dignitas.
Truly.
The right side Phoenix will fall down. Dignitas have to get a kill to get off of this bad luck 13. I mean, I don't know how pluck damage triggering the Mantle. That's just you don't plan for that. Deathwalker triggering Zyrhoes' ultimate, and a nice uneventful Life of the Party for Team Dignitas. They've been used to Team Rival just dropping the ultimate, and it's a kegger. And this time around, a small, sleepy three-man party in Aggro's basement.
Don't be mad because you weren't invited.
I'm just assuming that's how you spent most of your junior years.
Zyrhoes using the ultimate there. Usually it's worth...
Confirmed.
Usually it's worth using your ultimate instead of a relic, but Valkyrie's discretion is so critical in the late game. There isn't that much long-range guaranteed CC from Rival that you're going to be beadsing, then maybe it would have been better for him to use the beads and not get hit by Life of the Party there. I don't know. It's close. You're really worried about Dazzling Offensive without Purification beads, but Valkyrie's discretion still gets you out of it. As long as you don't walk into a wayward Spirit Ball, that's kind of your biggest concern if you don't have your Purification.
Well, here comes the initiation from Collis. He's going to look for it, but he's taken half of his HP already. Dignitas in a great position to go and fight. DW has that up already, and Zyrhoes won't have his. But nice positioning keeps him in line. And so for Zyrhoes, Zyrhoes is going to get, oof, that's not a good look. Zyrhoes is going to get 1 Valkyrie's Discretion for every 2 Life of the Parties.
Yeah.
More like 2.5. If he trades it out straight up, that's a good win. But he has to be careful the next time because he needs beads for those moments.
Great Aegis from Zyrhoes. That Circle of Protection is going to do great work as Trixtank very low. Doesn't get popped quite yet, but Ice is the one who might end up falling. Variety able to finish him off. Snipes on target, of course, from Arkkyl, but Aegis was still solid from Vote. Rival on the retreat, but they got what they wanted. Ultimately, they broke the base of Dignitas.
Midside Phoenix gone. Right Phoenix also tossed to the wayside. I'm glad you mentioned it as well. Yeah, Vote's got the Aegis, but without that Aegis, Arkyl's getting another kill. So damn accurate. I don't... Yeah. Oh, man. It's disgusting. Arkkyl was also... now he's a superstar, right? But you remember when he was acquired by this Team Dignitas team?
Yep.
He was the gamble?
Yep. Not the gambler. We have that.
The gambler.
Right, but he was a gamble, for sure.
Yeah, no, this was Variety's new team, and everyone went, Variety, Qvo, Zyrhoes, Trixtank, You really going to trust this Arkkyl guy? And Arkkyl just, like, exhaled real quick and went, why, of course, it is I, and just slayed everybody down.
Why is Arkkyl a villain in this scenario?
Have you? I mean, he's not a villain.
He sounds like a villain.
I don't know what you're saying.
Dignitas really is a team of villains in a way.
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely.
Zyrhoes is obviously he's been in every Bond movie since '83.
Yes, he is the guy that wears.
Variety is like the English mob boss. He'd play that part really, really well.
Yeah, I see that.
And like Kingpin suit.
If The Departed was British,
yeah,
it'd be like
Variety
Harry.
would totally be yeah. Harry Cummings, like, come on.
Yeah, dude, he's Jack Nicholson for sure.
Trixtank and Qvo are like the guy, the Swedish dudes who like don't know that they're evil, but like they're like, we just want to party, but we're gonna trick the entire world into going into this trance by our EDM music.
They're the like, charismatic, they're the charismatic bodyguards, right? The two like twins that are like charismatic. That you need charismatic twins in all of these scenarios.
We all must party, so we will eliminate all of life's worries by sending you into a dreamlike state forever. And they feel like they're doing the right thing, but we all know they really aren't.
Zero's top, Variety number 2, and then you've got the two henchmen is the word I'm looking for, not bodyguard, henchmen, which are the two blonde players, and then Arkkyl, of course, is just sitting there.
Arkkyl is the French double agent, you know. We always knew he was too smooth.
Yeah, no, way too smooth. Arkkyl, by the way, I'm very critical of players and their fashion or lack thereof. Arkkyl nails it. Knows how to dress casually.
Number one pro fashion. Number one.
We got a long conversation, right?
Free.
No way. Dignitas trying to play D over here. Nice circle of protection. It's going to heal and deal damage. Deathwalker very low, and that's a big deal for Team Dig. Actually is going in the black and yellow's favor.
They lose one, though, and it's Variety again. He takes another spill as Vote tried to ult after Qvo after getting that blood shield, but the blink was there to get Qvo out of danger. Dignitas cannot fight Vote
missed
in that spot.
Not a missed opportunity?
No.
It was 4-on-1.
For now, and then Wlfy, iceicebaby, and Deathwalker all close the gap. Ice has got blink. You've got a long-range spirit ball to the back of the head.
Yeah.
And we're talking about game 3.
Yeah. That's fair. We could be talking about game 3 already.
Yeah.
Oh, no, we missed 4-4-4-4 the clock.
Man, we must have to try and get 5-5-5-5 in the next game. If there is a next game, and if it goes that long.
I think we just might. I mean, the way Team Rival are playing right now. QvoFred shows up, closes scissors, in some trouble. Mid lane Phoenix retaken. Trixtank goes for it, but DW already killed Zyrhoes. Vote's going to go down as well. That's got to be game, right?
Could be, but Rival should just play this slow. Wait for a fire minion wave. Variety being up is a big deal, but I don't know if that's enough to warrant end it. Or
yeah, just push it. Just push it. Team Rival, topple the villains. We're going to a game 3.
Dignitas was in control of that game. I mean, it feels like a while ago because, frankly, it was. But Dignitas was in control of that game. Rival make a great Fire Giant call. Really, really smart by them. They execute it very well. They get it. They lose a couple members. Dignitas is still in control, and then Dig just lets off the gas, and they leave open the door for Rival.
I maintain. I go back to not the Fire Giant call, but the Gold Fury after the fact.
Sure.
Fire Giant call was a big hat tip to Team Rival, just doing what they do, understanding their own mentality and their identity. And that Gold Fury, Dignitas was up, and they don't take the fight. I'm not about it.
Fire Giant on 3 members, scary. Especially Vote, who played very, very well all game.
Sure.
Deathwalker had it, but at the end of the day, I totally agree with you. Would you rather take that fight where you're up 3K with a team that has 3 Fire Giants on them, or what was the next team fight when you're completely even around a Fire Giant where your secure is worse?
Exactly.
I think I'd rather take that fight up 3K. It's not a clear-cut call, but I do think that looking back, Dignitas is probably saying themselves, we should have taken that fight.
Game 1 Dig, Game 2 Rival, Game 3 yet to be seen. Let's break it down.
Thanks, Aggro. Thanks, Pierce Finch. And Anatoly here as we break down game 2. Rival find a way to bring it back, man. That game was looking all Dignitas for a while there, but they started answering back.
It was a very impressive survival. Deathwalker gets plucked. The Mantle of Discord was able to get him out of that danger. Then Variety gets picked. Fire Giant going the way of Rival, able to get those Phoenixes in the late game. And a lot of credit to Deathwalker on this Baron Samedi, going for a utility build, basically winning them the game in that last Phoenix siege.
Yeah, I would say on that last push, Deathwalker was instrumental. But I think Vote, and believe it or not, I even want to say Wlfy deserves some credit. I think through the first 30 minutes of that game, Wlfy did almost nothing.
Neither of them died.
But nobody died. How is that crazy that Vote and Arkkyl both go the whole game without dying? Once they started grouping up and fighting around objectives, though, Wlfy was instrumental. The circle of protection was securing them. He was zoning people out. Volt was positioning perfectly in every fight with 30,000 damage. Absurd at this point. I mean, they really did a good job closing that one out.
And Arkkyl was just barely ahead in that player damage. A lot of these players understanding their roles to a T. Between objectives of Wlfy's ISIS, between surviving was Vote and Arkkyl. But at the end of the day, I think the biggest adjustment Rival made was, outside of obviously the Baron Samedi that they got, was the Achilles for iceicebaby as opposed to the Camisots, bringing in more flavor to team fights in the late game.
But it really felt like, so like in like the late game fights, they were like, instead of all in committing and letting like Trixtank just res somebody, what if we just kill Trixtank when he goes in? Variety goes in first for the pluck, doesn't find it, and then it's Trixtank who's kind of left out of position. Well, let's just collapse on him and kill him. And they were able to do it without the ultimate even getting off a couple times in a row, and that got the ball rolling.
I remember that one time around Fire Giant, he wasn't even that primary target, and you get caught slipping for even a moment's notice, and then there comes the Spirit Ball that sets up even more damage after the fact.
It does end up going their way, but let's go ahead and go over to it. It ends up being a Deathwalker who's the one that's selected as the MVP. I know he's a big fan of those out there. This is one where Deathwalker's getting it done. The background, I know we're watching from Vote's perspective, but Deathwalker's the one that sets that all up. And the circle of protection, had they needed it, was there. And this is that final push, totally.
Oh yeah, being able to get his ultimate back up. Had a lot of cooldown reduction with that Breastplate of Valor. Not too much ability to get away without any sort of CC immunity, but catching out 2 members, Trixtank dying, and then just another one to follow.
That's right. The damage from the pull, I think, was enough, and they pulled in the Trixtank too. Just a huge fight from there on that back end to kind of get it moving their way. So how do you kind of move forward from this? Because Rival did 2 things, I think, well. They started focusing Trix, and they just kind of stopped fighting. They just were like, well, let's just push down this tower or take the objective or something like that. How does Dignitas make adjustments against that going forward?
I think they got to go for first pick and try to get Amaterasu, because this time it was Rival that picked it up for themselves. That late game damage and mobility allows them to go in and out of the action very quickly. And game 3, it's a battle for Amaterasu.